All right, what's up, familia? Welcome inside the pad. Hope you guys are doing good. Keeping it between the lines. Got your load secure. Man, I feel like I haven't done an interview in a long time. I kind of miss doing these, man. So I got to step up my game. So to bring back my interviews, I got actually a special guest here with me, Becky Lopez. Why do I have her on here? Who is she? What does she do? Let's find out. Let's go ahead and bring in the one, the lovely one, Miss Becky Lopez.
Hey, 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 gracias. Gracias for having me here.
How you doing, girlfriend?
Doing good, doing good. Almost end of the year. It flew by, huh?
We're getting there, aren't we?
Yeah.
We're getting there. Yeah, yeah. You know what? I still haven't really put much thought into it, but yeah, I mean, once December hits, that's about it. I'm a big Christmas freak.
Oh, are
So,
you? Yeah.
oh yeah. Listen, Clark Griswold has nothing on this vato right here. No, I'm a huge Christmas fanatic, but I'm very traditional when it comes to it though.
Oh,
I
okay.
I don't I don't watch any Christmas movies at all until December 1st to December 25th. That's the only window right there. Outside of those dates,
Nada. Yeah.
nothing that has to do with Christmas. Nothing at all. That
Yeah.
way it stays special. You know the season.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I get it. What's your favorite Christmas movie?
Scrooged with Bill Murray,
Really? Okay. Well,
circa 1988. Oh
yeah.
yeah. Oh
Okay.
yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a classic. That's cool.
You?
Yeah. I like Alf. That's like tradition here at the house. Alf is our go-to all the time. I just love that movie.
Yeah, yeah. That's a good one. I like that one. I like
Yeah,
that
Will's a big old dork and just like eating the freaking cotton balls and everything is just oh my goodness, yeah. That's our go-to definitely. Alf. Yeah.
Hey, shout outs to everybody on here right now, man. Tonight, Andrew, orale, Mr. Big Bird, Lord Spike.
Hey,
Uh,
hey,
orale, look who's in here, man. Johnny. All right,
Johnny.
man.
I'm like, I see him.
So, Becky, you had me on your platform, on your podcast. I threw it out there for everybody to go check it out.
Yes.
I was very impressed with your setup and learning. You interviewed me, but I learned a little bit about you, and I want to get to some of that stuff.
Nice.
But
Yeah.
let let's just start with you, Becky. I'll ask you what you asked me. Who are you? What do you do? I mean, who is Becky Lopez?
Jeez, okay. Well, as you know, obviously, and most people that know me know that I am the host of my podcast show, Comadreando Aquí con Café. So I would say that's my main who I am. I'm a host. I mingle with this and that. And what I mean by that is I also model. Yeah, I'm a model. I know I ain't all that, but that's what I do. I'm heavy into the pinup community, so that's what I would relate to. I love my raza too, so you'll catch us at pretty much all the local car shows as well. You know, you'll catch me in the family there. Um, I back up my husband with his photography. That's what he's mingling in. So you'll catch me helping him stage the girls, stuff like that. Yeah, that's pretty much what I do. Um, I'm a little bit into a bit clothing store. We have a clothing line that should be come. I've been talking about it forever, but it's gonna be dropping soon. I hope. And I also sit in at the local community radio over in Boyle Heights twice a month. So I'm doing that as well. So yeah, I'm just into everything.
You got
Mhm.
your hands in different pots, right? Just
I
putting it in
do.
different. Okay,
Yes, yes,
okay.
yes.
And with your husband, did you get him into photography? Did he get into photography? Because it seems like it kind of gels both of you guys together. It's kind of like in
It
the same way
did.
what you were doing.
Yeah, well, since we worked together to do this clothing line, we've been trying to, bring to birth for years now. He's the one that takes pictures of me. He'll take pictures of other people. So I kind of told him, you know what, since you got the camera and you're doing this anyway, pursue it. Get in there, do something with it. We've met a lot of people along the way as well, and all the time people need like a photographer real quick to do this and that. So like I tell them, just throw yourself out there. You're doing it anyway, and that's pretty much how he landed that, and it's been going really good for him for now. He's already in five. He has five published magazines already. So yeah, he's out there, and like I said, I help him out and like help him stage with the girls and pose and this and that, go along with them, and I even help him submit his pictures. So yeah, I guess we pretty much work at it together, but it's more his deal because I push him more to do that. Yeah.
All right. Well, Johnny, if you're listening, carnal, I'm gonna need your autograph before you blow up too big, Holmes. All right. So, Becky, where'd you grow up? Um, Parents, mom and dad in the picture, siblings. Talk to us a little bit about your childhood.
All right. So I grew up in La Puente. I was I say pretty much born and raised because I mean I was born in El Monte, but I lived there till I was about 3. Moved to La Puente, and that's where I was pretty much raised there. So yeah, I was raised by La Puente. By the time I got married, I was 20. I moved out of there, and I've never been back. Nothing personal with La Puente. It's just that soonly after I left home, my mom left the area too. So there's nothing for me to go back to over there. I always say La Puente did what it had to. It raised me. I'm done with it. Moved on along. I've been a resident of Pomona since 2011. So I consider myself a Pomonian now. Yeah. And yeah, typical hardcore Mexican family, my mom, my dad. Um, the way I got into when we were speaking, when I had you over on the couch at my studio, my dad was a truck driver. So that's how I grew with the love of diesels, trucks, the whole shabam. And yeah, he started off as a truck driver. When I was about 8, he decided to stop driving, and he opened up a mechanic shop. So he would fix diesels there, and he still owned trucks, but he wouldn't drive anymore. And he had a big fleet at that time. And just since then, till this current date, I don't talk to my dad. We've been estranged for about 8 years now, but he's still in the trucking industry. He still has his shop, and I've been doing all this professionally since I was 17 years old. The year before I actually graduated from high school, they threw me out there to do the family business. So yeah, it was really intimidating. I'm not gonna lie, because they just threw me to the phone and figure it out. That's how my dad would. That was his tactic to let me learn how to handle stuff. Just figure it out. So yeah, that summer was like really hard. The following year I came back, and that's it. I never left there. And yeah, I've been doing the dispatch. I know how to drive as well. So it just goes all together with the whole package. My mother was always a stay at home, and I have 3 sisters. They're in the picture around somewhere. Yeah, they don't claim me, but I'll claim them. And that's it. We're 4 daughters, 4 girls. That's pretty much it. Yeah.
Were you closer to your mom or to your dad growing up?
You know what? I didn't know my dad. Even though he lived at home, I didn't know my dad. When I was little, I used to go along with him when he would drive. But he was a local driver, so he would do, I believe it was Walnut to Los Angeles. That was his route, or Fontana. And I would ride along with him a lot, but that's when I was little. I had to start school, so he couldn't take me along with him anymore. And that was it. When he got into his business, the mechanic shop, we wouldn't see my dad for days. Even though he lived with us, he would come home really late. We had to be in bed because obviously we were already in school. So the only day we seen my dad was on Sundays, and just for a little while, because even then he would be home when we woke up. He would do breakfast with us, and then he would leave and take care of business, and then come home later in the evening. And that's how we lived our life with my dad. So until I actually started working with my dad, I can pretty much say that's when I met my dad and I knew what my dad was about. So it was crazy. It was crazy. I was close to my mother, and that's pretty much the parent I had. I always, now that I'm grown and I'm, a woman, I have my family. I always see my mother pretty much as a single mom, because she took care of us, problems. She raised us all by herself, because my dad was just like, here's the money, you have a house, deal with it. That's how we were brought up. So
But they were together though. You guys
yeah,
did live in the same home.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay. So you know what? Because I do stress this a little bit to people. So he was a local driver, but he'd go to work before you guys got up, and he'd come home when you guys were asleep.
When he was driving,
Mhm.
I was the only kid that was there, because me and my sisters were all 5 years apart. So it was me. I was the only one they had at that time. So then, like when my younger sister was about 2 or 3, I was 8 by then. That's when he got the mechanic shop. So he wasn't driving anymore, but he was just always at the shop, always there. But yeah, that's how we lived our life with my dad. We would never see him, and in the morning, be quiet because he's asleep. Don't wake him up. So yeah, like we never seen my dad.
Yeah, there's plenty of local trucking jobs out there, and it's like, wow, I'll give myself a local job, which is cool because you are home every night. But a lot of local jobs, not all, but a lot of them, you're still going to be gone about
Yeah,
14 hours a
yeah,
day. So a lot of times you're gonna get up and go to work when your kids are asleep still during the
yeah.
week, and you're gonna come home basically
And
when
they're
it's time
still
to go to
asleep.
sleep.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah. So yeah, it's definitely a different life. So
yeah. It is. It is, and that's one of the things that I always feel like normal people don't know that struggle. Truck drivers, and like those are the one families that struggle, like sacrifice the most. And I mean by time. And it sucks. It sucks so bad, because I remember like certain times when the trucks would break down. Like one year for New Year's, me and my mom spent it at Denny's, because my dad had to drive up to Reno, because it was his truck and he didn't want to do the whole roadside because it was the holiday and they were charging super extra. So it was just so sad, because we're here at home. It was just the four of us. My youngest sister wasn't born yet. And my dad's far away. He had his brother, my uncle, that would work for him at the shop as well. And those are just the things, like I said, that those are the sacrifices that other people don't see, how truck drivers put their family in the back burner a lot of the time.
well, we do have one fan out there. His name is Jake Paul. He gave all the truckers a shout out, called us all heroes. I was like, yeah, that's right. After the Mike Tyson fight. So okay, so something that you and I have in common is that you jumped in the truck with your dad. That's something that I did, right? With my dad. Now my dad took off when I was, I don't know, like 7 years old or something. But before he left, I jumped on the truck with him, and I loved it. I loved it. I remember you saying how much you enjoyed it too. Why did your dad decide to get off of the truck?
I think it was the responsibility of having the shop, so he couldn't do both. And it kind of worked out, because when he decided to open the shop, him and his uncle opened it together, and they were gonna divide expenses and chores and everything that goes with this business. But it didn't end up going that way. My uncle ended up just being an investor pretty much, and then he walked away. So my dad obviously couldn't divide himself into being a mechanic and a truck driver, so he just stayed at the shop.
Okay. And did you know that you wanted to be around trucks? Did you have like this love? What was it since when did the love for trucks for you come along? Was it because of your dad? Was it because you were riding with your dad? Did it break your heart when he was no longer a truck driver? What did one Becky Lopez want to do?
Well, yeah, I was in the truck with him since I was 3. So,
Okay.
like I said, he had a local route, and a lot of the times he didn't want to take me because I was a kid. I was impatient. I was all over the place. So you can just imagine that. But I would sleep in the hallway. So when my dad would come out, he would have to pass by me, and I would feel him, so I could just go with him. And yeah, I rode around with him a lot of time, and we used to have that local route. Like I said, we used to see the sun come up, and it was just a typical driver day. And on Fridays, when the guys used to be done with their route for the week, they'd hang out and stuff. And I was impatient, so I wanted to like hurry him up and let's go home. And yeah, I would always be up in the truck trying to turn it on. So that's one of the reasons too that he stopped taking me along with him, because I would turn on the truck, and I guess one time he was out in the back under the trailer checking the pin and everything when I turned it on, so he got scared and he told my mom, "I'm not taking her along no more because she's gonna kill me one day." So right
Um,
after that, I was already starting kindergarten anyway, so I couldn't go anymore. But yeah, when he stopped for good driving, it was kind of sad because I did enjoy it. Like, I honestly felt in my heart that I was helping him work by holding the coffee thermal, by picking a burrito with him. Like, I just thought I was helping my dad work. And yeah, even after here and there, when like certain customers would break down, or like the drivers couldn't deliver loads that he would have to go take them, we would love to jump in the truck with him. And sometimes he would take all of us. Most of the time, maybe me. Sometimes he wouldn't even want to take me. It just depended how the schedule was and what mood he was in. So yeah, it was really heartbreaking though when he just didn't want to do it anymore. And then when I got a chance to finally be in there, when it was, my turn to take care of these trucks, it was like so exciting to just be around these freaking monsters. They're huge and they're loud, and they're just, I don't know. It's a rush for me to be around them, period. So yeah, since I was 3, I think that was like it. I just fell in love with the whole dynamic of it.
to be around trucks. Yeah. I mean a lot has changed. I remember you and I were having a conversation and it was like, ah, man, like a lot has changed in trucking and trucks themselves. I bet when you started up that truck, you had to turn a key and push a button.
Yes,
Um, yeah,
right on
yeah,
the uh-huh.
right. Yeah, now you just kind of pretty much turn the key. They're becoming more and more just like big cars. It's
Oh
losing
yeah.
it's losing its steam of it being called trucking. But so okay, so you got into the family business and running the trucks. Is that what you wanted to do? Did you have
Yeah.
thoughts about going to college? Did you want to do anything else before jumping into the business, or were you like because you said they threw you in there?
Yeah.
It almost seems like you didn't want to.
No,
So
I
okay,
didn't.
so
I
what
didn't.
did you want to do?
Actually, I wanted to be in the whole forensic field. That's what I wanted to do. I wanted to be part of like the coroner scene. Um, if not doing actual autopsies, at least figuring out what happened, picking up, this and that. That's what I wanted to do. Um, Alongside of the family business getting thrown in there, I started dating my husband, who is now, and he would tell me, you know what, you're gonna sit here and be in that line of work we're trying to like make something happen here. Say we do have a family later. How are you gonna feel picking up like dead bodies or picking up body parts and then trying to come home to your kids or stuff like that? And yeah, I kind of like took it in, but I didn't really care too much. I was like, um, I actually had a full paid scholarship to Fresno State. I picked that one up through, I don't know if you know the program, the FFA that the high schools offer. It's a Future Farmers of America. Our school had that. It was a big program that they offered kids there, not only just with the farming, but it went hand in hand with animals, like raising livestock and stuff like that. A lot of us would be able to go to the big college out here is Cal Poly to put hands on there with their cows and a lot of the stuff that they would grow. We had a big greenhouse over at my high school as well. And I did that program for 2 years. I was officer as well. I was a treasurer. And yeah, we had a like a orientation to go to Fresno State and see if that's what we wanted to do. And I had told my teacher, Mr. Schlarman, I had told him, I like this, but this is not where my heart is. Like, I want to do something else. And I had a criminal justice class as well. And that teacher was always talking about all these crimes and unsolved and cold cases. And that always really called my attention. But I didn't want to get into the line of like, like the police line detectives or nothing like that. So I was like, if I can sit here and actually figure out these pieces of the puzzle of what went on, that's where I want to be. And I told my teacher that. So he told me, look, I can get you a scholarship if you want to apply, if they accept you. You can go out there, do what you have to do with the program, and then transfer back out here to, I believe it was Cyprus, and that's where the whole forensic courses are really big. And that was the plan. I had told my mom. My mom was like, "Yeah, okay." So it actually went through. You know how it takes a long time to get a response, and the grades and this and that. It was a process, but by almost the end of the year, I got my acceptance letter, a little package, and everything. And when I told my parents, they're like, "You can't go over there by yourself." And I was like, what? Like, but you said yes. I guess my mom wasn't paying attention. And no, they weren't okay with me living by myself all the way in Fresno. Like they were not okay with it. So it kind of like hurt my heart because that's what I really, really wanted to do. But honestly, I'm not gonna complain because the family business was great. It was good. I was with my dad about 14 years, and it's life lessons that I use up to now, and I honestly wouldn't trade them for anything in the world. I wouldn't. Things didn't end up good with my dad. They didn't. But I just picked up a lot of everything, not just worth ethic, like just a bunch of everything. And it's the life experiences, like I tell you, that are the ones that can help you deal and think faster now that you're a grown up and you can like put these skills to use in different areas.
All right. So, well, first of all, it seems like almost every girl is into murders. Like
Yes.
all that unsolved mysteries, all that cold case files, all that stuff. That is so women driven,
Yes.
right there. Like women are all over that stuff, man.
Yeah.
So okay, so to make clear, so you never were a truck driver, though, right?
No, I've never actually officially drove a truck. No.
Okay, so what did you do? You're a dispatcher?
Dispatch. Yeah, I've dispatched. I did it for my dad's trucks. I did it for other people. At one point, I had about 6 trucks that I was dispatching. Two were my dad's, four were somebody else's. We also had a local route, but that was on a contract, so we didn't have to worry about that. That one was pretty much routine every single day. So yeah, it was just dispatch for the guys. When they would break down, I'd go meet them halfway, either meet with a mechanic if my dad wasn't going to be there. It was a lot of responsibility that I've taken on with the trucks and stuff. And just recently, because I know when I spoke to you, I was like, man, I really miss it. I just got my job back with dispatching. As a matter of fact, just today, well, yesterday, my truck left to Colorado. So yeah, I'm back in the business.
All right, all right. Well, I have seen some of your older videos,
Yeah.
and you are riding around on a truck or in a truck. How did that come out to
Well, because I'm in charge of them,
be?
like dispatch again, and with my stepdad now, I'm in charge of the trucks. Period. I hire, I fire, I sit there and do the whole like interviews, and when the trucks need maintenance on the weekend, me and my husband will go and pick up the trucks, take them to get fueled. 'Cause I don't let the drivers deal with the money. Like when they're local here, it's like we'll just go take one truck, fill it up, take the other truck, fill it up for the whole week. If there's a quick load that needs to be delivered, we'll pick it up, drop it off. 2 years ago, we did go to the Midwest because I tried to get my husband into the whole scene with driving. So we did take two loads out there, and that's when we were in the truck for a long time. But it's not for us because we have kids, and yeah, it's not fair for them.
Yeah, yeah, but you that's what you wanted to be doing though.
I
You had that,
did, I
yeah,
did.
you had that. I was able to see that in you that you really want to be doing that. So, okay, so there was a falling out with your father. You're not doing dispatch anymore. Where did it come to you where it's like, I mean, did you try to go get some other dispatching job, try to stay in the trucking industry? Where did the whole podcast thing come to your mind for what you're doing now? And were you trying to get back into some sort of getting back into the trucking field?
Okay, so when the trucking with my dad stopped was in 2013.
Hmm.
Um, he just got rid of me. He fired me. He's like, "You're done." Like, and he didn't even do it. He had my sisters tell me to leave. That's it. You're not welcome here no more. So it was kind of okay at the time because I had a newborn. My baby was about 6 months old. So, it was a struggle and it was hard, but I took the time to, raise my kid. At the same time, I was going through a lot of personal issues in my marriage. So that pretty much, I did the family thing for many years, probably about 4 years. Then my mom and my dad have been separated for about 20 years, 21 years. And they recently got officially divorced on paper. So my mother's boyfriend, husband, man, he's
They
a
were
truck mechanic.
okay. I don't mean to cut you off. So they were separated for 21 years, but not divorced.
Yes.
Wow. Okay. Okay.
You
Got
know, you know the Mexican man and how they function.
it.
Yes. Yes.
Okay. All right.
And my mom actually like served him with papers twice, and twice he didn't want to sign. So
Uh,
it was just, yeah, and they don't see each other, they don't communicate with nothing. They're just apart and done. And my dad's still like, no, I'm not signing anything. So whatever. Anyways, they've been divorced, they've been done, they've been separated for all this time. My mom's new relationship, he's a diesel mechanic as well. He's in the trucks as well. So they offered me a job. And of course, I needed it. My oldest was almost 4 at the time. So that's how I got back into the trucking industry with them. So I started with mechanic. I was a runner for parts for their mechanic shop. So I did the whole running for about a year, and then they decided to just keep me for paperwork instead because work slowed down at that time. And I do all the accounting for them too. So that's another trait, like I mentioned earlier, that I learned for doing the family business. I learned all the accounting, all the numbers, paperwork, all that stuff. So yeah, thank God I've been doing the accounting part of their business since then. Then down the line, he ended up buying a truck, and I ended up dispatching that truck as well. He bought another one. I did it as well for that one. And that's how I've been involved now in the trucking industry with this recent time, you know?
Okay.
So then my podcast, I ended up
Well, you know what? I'm sorry. I don't mean to cut you off. We'll get to the podcast in a second, but I do want to ask a few because you said a lot there, and there's a lot of people that go through family drama and only answer to your best comfort level.
okay.
What was it like for you, um, your dad firing you? I mean, that's got to be a rough one. I mean, I'm sure it just wasn't from one day to the next, but
No, it
none.
was it
Oh,
was
okay,
yeah.
okay. Look, I don't have any daughters, right? But every father that I talk to that has a daughter, they're like, "Oh, like that's my little baby. That's my little baby." You know what I mean? Like I would have a tough time firing my sons, but if they're acting like a bunch of jackasses, I then I got no problem putting it to them, right? But what was it like for you? Was the business kind of getting in the way of your guys' relationship? Was it causing friction for your relationship? I've heard this before. I've never been in business with any family, and really not really with any close camarada of mine. But
Hmm?
I've always heard, hey, don't do business with your family. Don't do business with
Yeah.
like your close homie because it'll change you guys, man. You guys will end up being enemies and stuff like that. And I have seen situations like that. I've seen very few situations where it does work, but for the most part, I do see when you get into business with family or like a real good close friend of yours, fast forward 5 years or something, their relationship is not what it once was. So how was it for you?
It was hard. It was hard, and honestly, it still gets to me because like I said, I worked with him 14 years, like
Right.
literally rib to rib, and 15, 14-hour days, sometimes 7 days a week, you know? And it really hurt me the way you said it just how it was. Business got in the way. I love my father, so whoever's watching, don't take me wrong. I'm not talking smack about him, but my dad had and still has a lot of growing up to do. And what I mean in that sense is that he was always a responsible man, and it seems like once he locked me down to learn the business, he didn't care about it anymore. Do you understand what I'm saying? And
Okay.
his whole deal was like he would go missing for hours. Hours. I'm talking about he was supposedly going to pick up a part. He would leave at 10 in the morning and he would disconnect from the world till he walked back into the yard at 4 o'clock in the afternoon. There was times we had serious issues. There was times where we needed the verdict to know what to do with certain jobs, like an engine job or transmissions. He was nowhere to be found. So all the responsibility, everything was laid on me, and I had to use my better judgment and hope that I'm not screwing things up and that I chose the right thing to do. So during this time, yeah, he just didn't care about the business like he used to. He figured she got it, I'm done, like I'm out of here. And it was a lot of friction between us because um if you have a business, you need to take care of it. You need to be responsible, and you need to understand that you have bills that come in and you need to take care of everything. You can't just go disappearing and then let everybody else figure out what you need to be doing. And we would argue a lot because I would tell him, I'm your daughter and I act with you as if you're my son and you need discipline. Like, where are you? And that was a lot of the issues that we had towards the end. And honestly, what was like the finishing touch right there, he ended up bringing a girlfriend, and she's the one that got in his ear. And me and her had a lot of issues because she was just those really sneaky kind of people. And she got in his ear and told him to get rid of me, and he did. He did. He just told me like, get out of here. Uh-huh.
I hear what you're saying. So it's like teach you the business, and now that you know it, hey, you take care of it while I go do whatever I'm gonna go do.
Yeah.
Um,
Mhm.
were your sisters in the business as well, or were you the only one?
They were, but only on the weekend. They would only come in on a Saturday and for, the quick day or whatever. Usually Saturdays were a little bit slower. Again, it depends the time of the year and what was going on. But they weren't completely invested like I was. They were just Saturday girls. And I mean the ones right after me. So yeah, they weren't too familiar with everything that went on there. So it was really hard when they did all just decide to get rid of me, because a lot of the stuff that they didn't know, um, they were there. They helped my dad out about a year, and then they were out of there too. It's just, it's a really hard business. It's a really hard business, and you have to keep up with the technology. And that was one of the things my dad wasn't too big on. He knew how to do like the computer diagnostics, but a lot of the newer stuff were hitting really big, and a lot of our accounts were going other places because my dad didn't have the knowledge to keep up with the newer stuff. So it was just hard. It's hard to see the struggle, because even though I don't talk to him, it still hurts me. He's my dad. A lot of the friends that we had during the time I still keep in touch with. So from time to time, oh, your dad, this and that. And it hurts. It hurts to know, that my dad isn't in the best place. And it was just hard all the way around. I honestly think if we would have been a tighter family, maybe the business could have still been flourishing and it would have been a different outcome. Yeah.
All right. So your family wasn't a tight knit family growing up.
No,
As you
no.
said, your dad was always gone. And okay, okay. Um, you know, I am interested in this. Because I was raised by a single mom, right? And a lot of guys are. And we kind of know what it's like when mom brings a dude around. It's like, orale, what's up with this vato? Who's this character, right? What was it like for you on the flip side of the coin when dad brings another girl around?
um, you know what? At first, at first, it would bother me. But my dad is a Don Juan. So he's never been of one woman, ever, ever. So it was just like, here he comes with this other girl again. There was times I would meet three of his girls in one day. So it wasn't like, like it's my dad. That's it. But the first ones were,
Is this, I'm
they were
sorry.
drama. Yeah.
Okay, I'm sorry. Is this when you were a kid or as an adult?
No, this is when I was an adult, like when I
Okay.
started working with him. Before that, they were married. Um, if he messed around or not, it wouldn't come home. So like it wasn't like that. It was until I started working there that my parents ended their marriage, and my dad was just open with who he really was. So yeah, there was one of his first girls was a lot of drama, but that was personal between me and her, so that's why we used to have a lot of issues. But after that, it's just like, I this man, another one. Yeah.
Wow. Wow. Yeah. Man, I was always interested in that because you don't see that too much as opposed to mom bringing another guy around and son is there and it's like you start sizing the dude up, who's this guy, what's he about, because you're a lot more your mom, she's your mom, you're still a kid, but nonetheless you're like a little man wanting to defend mom because she's still a girl.
Yeah.
But so you just start sizing them up. So that's why I was kind of interested. Like, okay, when dad brings another girl around, like what's that like? So, all right. Yeah, you used to say, hey, the guy's a rambling man. That just meant he just, he was never tied down to one
Yeah.
girl.
No. No.
Okay.
No. He liked the girls.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So, okay, so now you get into the other bit. So your mom, she marries a diesel mechanic.
Yeah. Hmm.
Okay, and they got you into that business. You already kind of know, you already got the background on all that. When 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 your dad fired you, was that it with him? Was that like a shot to the heart where it's like, okay, we just go our separate ways and we don't talk anymore?
Yeah.
Damn.
Basically. Yeah. And it sucks because again, it's like all the trouble that I went through. I was protective with my dad over a lot of stuff. Like, not only legal stuff that had to do with the business, it was just a lot of stuff that was constantly happening. Like, one of the issues we were constantly fighting over was the city trying to take my dad's property, you know? And I did all these researches. I went to my old school to talk to that criminal justice teacher to get advice to what to do. I was doing continuances at the city hall, and this was the case that rolled over for about 4 years that they were just on us. And these were this case was where I would see my dad in his weakness because he didn't know what to do. We would talk to, like, say, a certain attorney. They wanted all this money just to start a file. Like, we didn't have it like that, even though we were okay. And it was just like I said, it was really heartbreaking to me that after everything that I wouldn't say I did with them, but everything we did together, he literally just pulled up the switch, and that's it. You're done. You're out of here. And it was really sad. It was really, really sad. But there's a lot of other chismes in the middle of that. Finances. It's ugly. It's very, very ugly. It's very technical. It split up the family because it did. And it just sucks that it ended up that way and for no reason. Like I said, if we would have all been a tighter family, I honestly think we would have probably got rid of this situation and we would all still be you know helping my dad with his business and benefiting from it. At the same time, it is a family business. But unfortunately it wasn't that way, and it's everybody has strong characters in my family. All my sisters, everybody, they're strong. So there's no way that you can have a conversation without an attitude. You can't have a word without three getting thrown back at you. So it's just one of those things, like, we just cannot get along. And it's hard. It sucks because all of it just blends into that problem.
Yeah. Well, before we move on to your podcast, I just want to go ahead and say, hopefully, one day, whether it's today, tomorrow, or many years from now, hopefully you and your old man can, mend and and find some bondship and father and daughter. So
Yeah.
my dad, my old man, he took off when I was a little kid and that was it. And just recently he's somewhat trying to get back into my life. My brother is a heck of a lot more into it. I'm open to it, but I'm not gonna
But
break my back trying to make
yeah.
it happen. You know what I mean? I'm open to it. Sure, why not? I got no anger anymore. I got no issues. But me myself, I'm not gonna jump on a plane and fly to go meet him or anything of that sort. Um, prayers for both of us. Hopefully, one day we can mend it
Yeah,
with
no,
our dad.
I'm there with you. I have my daughter. She'll be 6 in a month. and he doesn't even know her. And that hurt. That hurt so bad because once again, the issues we had were for that they weren't to that extent to where, oh my god, you're disowned, and it sucks. It sucks. But like
Okay.
I said, everybody's characters are different. You can't change people's minds. You can't anything. So I just learned to roll with the punches. What else can I do?
I got two sons. That's what my dad had. He had my brother and I had two sons. I couldn't imagine just packing up and leaving. I'm like, wow, some some character, but we'll save that for another one. So Becky, all right. So what's going on with the whole let's sit down, let's have some coffee, let's set up a nice little studio, let's invite Cholo Trucker over there. Let's get Johnny Cupcake behind the camera and
Yes.
let's and let's do this. Like, where did that come
Well, first I invited you because you're freaking cool. So that's
from? Oh,
your answer
thanks.
to that.
Hey, you hear everybody in the chat? You guys hear that? All right.
Yes, guys, you love your Cholo Trucker here.
How did the
Um,
whole idea of all this come together?
okay, so further down as an adult, um, I've always liked radio since I was little. I would always carry around a little portable radio. That was my getaway from whatever the heck was going on at home. So I really, really, I always loved the radio. My go to station was KRS 101. I just loved the oldies. That was it. So as I grew up, like I said, I was always fascinated with the radio. The whole magic behind who is on the other side of this speaker. So I
A lot of
liked it.
times,
I wanted to always kind of mingle with the radio. I was like, that would be so cool. You listen to Big Boy, you got Liz Hernandez with the Cheesemans and stuff. And I was like, that'd be so cool if I could be on the radio. But again, I had work and it was always really heavy because like I said, I was bouncing off to different jobs, the office with the whole repair shop, and then the dispatch with the drivers. And on top of that, I would, pick up other accounts and dispatch these other people's trucks as well. So I didn't have the like I didn't think I can go back to school, do the whole school thing, have the title to be able to be on the radio. But I've always liked the whole thought of being on the radio. So COVID hit back in 2020, and we would be on Facebook a lot. I would hang around with my sister and our other girlfriends, and the husbands were around too. It was boring, so we would hang out like every weekend, and we would
hang
do
out,
little short.
hang out on Facebook.
Well, we would hang out together, and while
Okay,
hanging out, we would put like lives of what we were doing and stories and
gotcha.
this and
Okay,
that.
okay.
So a lot of the people that would watch me would watch a lot and be like, "Well, what happened after? Why didn't you put the rest of what was going on?" So I was like, "Well, I didn't think it was interesting for you guys to watch us for like 10 minutes doing what we're doing. Like it's no big deal." So one of my husband's friends was like, "You guys need to really do like a reality show. So go on YouTube or write to some network." And I was like, "Be quiet." So then I started thinking, and I talked to my sister and the girls, and I was like, "Hey, the other day, Rob, that was his name, Robert, said this and that. I'm like, what do you guys think if we were to like get a podcast kind of show together and just talk about all the stuff that we talk about off the cameras, but do them in sessions of like an hour and put them out there?" So at first, everybody's like, "Yeah, yeah, sounds good." So I was like, "Okay, cool." So we started pushing for it. I started pushing for it. And once they seen I was really going to do it, they didn't want to be in it anymore. The only one that rode out with me the whole time was my sister. She was like, "Okay, I'll go. I'll sit there with you. Let's go." But
Right.
other than that, my other friends, one of them just stopped talking to me over it. Like, it's weird. There's no pressure. What's the problem? She didn't even talk. Up to now, she still don't talk to me. So yeah, it didn't work out how I wanted it to. My official idea behind it, like what I really wanted to focus on was talk about all the experiences that we were going through, all of us, you know. One of my friends that I wanted her to be on, her daughter has um oh, I can't think of it. It'll come to me. Anyways, we
Okay.
all had little issues to talk about, you know, and I was like,
Okay.
a lot of the times we, the Latino community, do not share what we're going through. We don't get information from the correct sources because either we're embarrassed or we're scared, right?
Mm.
I had a big ordeal a few years back. Um, I'll go ahead and mention it. We're all grown-ups here. I took birth control pills for the first time in my life, and
Mhm.
every side effect that was listed on that packet, I got. It was really bad to the point where I thought I had breast cancer.
Oh,
And
wow.
it took us about 4 months to figure out that the pill is what did all this to me. I had a lump under my left armpit the size of a golf ball. After a while, that lump went away, and I just had air pockets through my entire chest. The pain was like I couldn't even deal with the pain. It was horrible. I couldn't breathe. To take one breath, I had to divide that into three because my lungs were not functioning the way they should.
Mm.
Um, I was in the hospital literally 4 times a week because just something was going on with me. I have ghost veins to top it off where you can't find them. So it was like my arms were permanently purple everywhere for about 5 months because I was just getting tested for everything. And finally, they started putting, I guess, two and two together after they released me from every test possible that it wasn't breast cancer and it was actually that pill. So I wanted to take my personal experience and throw it out there. But you know, it's like a lot of times like people like too much information. I don't believe that ever
Yeah.
because again, you don't know what's going on. People, like I said, like an example, oh, anda malo, go to the doctor. I know que me van a encontrar. It's like that's the point. Go so they can tell you what's wrong with
Mhm.
you.
Right.
And I had told the girls and stuff, and they had said, yeah, yeah, but then no. And then when I do find people that tell me about their certain experiences, either if it's health or like real estate issues where they take stuff out of their house, you know how that goes when you sign papers off. Like I've been wanting to talk about a bunch of those things, but when it comes to doing them on like tape, video camera, nobody wants to do it. So yeah, it just really sucked because my whole idea pretty much went down the drain. So we just started doing our sessions anyway and just talking. I did have a couple of interviews then. Um, I had one of my comadres, she was real comadre that I had on my show, and she ended up being really messed up because as I'm doing my shows, I'm meeting people. I start getting a lot of mentors and people that are backing me up. They're teaching me things on the legal side. Hey, did you get like them to sign a release? Did you get, this and that? Do you put certain things when you list your episodes on YouTube? And this was a bunch of stuff that I didn't know we had to do. So
Mm.
one of my older friends tells me, you need to get releases on all the people that are on your show. Number one, because you're so open with everything. On my regular show, we used to cuss a lot. That's what it is. Like we didn't have like a censor or stay here or stay there. Like it was what it was. Whatever we were thinking, that's what we were talking about. So he told me, he says, if they decide to sue you, they can probably sue all of you guys because it isn't like stated that it's just your podcast and you're the host and it's yours. So, I go about this whole podcast and I tell the girls, my sister and my other friends, sign a release for me, just to cover your ass, make sure that you don't get in trouble for what's going on with my show. And this one friend decided to say no. She's like, well, I'm going to get with my attorney. So I said, you know what? Just after we went back and forth on a group message, all of us, my sister got to her. My other comadre, she's real protective over me, so she got all over her too. And I didn't even have to defend myself too much. I just told her, you know what? If that's what you think you need to do, go through an attorney. I'm gonna just forget it. I'm gonna take away all the episodes that have you in there, and we're done. Don't worry about it. And I did. I had to pull out 80 episodes that were with her in them because I couldn't use them. So a lot of my interviews that I did have, my early stuff, is gone because of that reason. So it's one of those things that sucks because I put work, like I put thought, and I actually do like studies before I sit and I talk. So it really bugged me that a lot of my good like work that I had done, homework or whatever, information went. But at the same time, like I pretty much revamped my whole show, and it's literally just me. And I'm a big time history person. So for a long time, that's all I was doing. Cases. The way I see it is like, cases and faces. Put them so people know, what happened, what's going on, this and that. And I did that for about a year and a half on my own. And then that's when I told my husband, I said, look, I really like interviewing people. I want to talk to people. I want to be taken seriously as a podcast show. I said, but I don't want to be bringing people here to the house, because
Right.
one thing is you got your comadre coming over. My house is always a mess. I have two kids. My houses are always little, so I have stuff stacked here and there. And you bring other people, they don't know. They just think you're a pig. They're like, oh, I don't want people judging me in my house. So I told him, Mama, we need to get a spot where we can bring people in that's designated just for this purpose because I really like doing this. I think I can, do something with it.
Let me
And,
let me let me stop you real quick, Becky. To everybody asking, I'm gonna leave the link to her channel pinned in the comment section as soon as we're done here, because people are asking for the link for your channel. So it will be in
oh,
the
okay.
comment section
Thank
as
you.
soon as
Yeah.
we're done.
Yeah. So yeah, that he was cool with it. He said, "Yeah, if that's what you want to do it." So yeah, I started looking for a place, something obviously affordable. And I got my little spot, and that's how I ended up there. And again, it goes to that whole like I revamped it. I'm all for my raza. I love my people. Um, the reason why I stick to like I've interviewed a lot of our local celebrities that I call. Um, I just feel like there is a lot of talent in many areas locally here, and they're unknown enough. And I think a lot of the time it's because I wouldn't say we're like Mexican or whatever. I just think it's because we haven't been discovered, and it's harder for us to get our foot in the door. So I myself am coming up. Like, different people know me here and there. I'm not a known name yet, but I'm known of. And I just feel like if I can help everybody else out and get their story out there, everybody has a story. Everybody has something to tell. It would be cool to give that little push, and we can all support each other and back each other up.
Yeah, I agree. I don't think there needs to be some sort of movement or anything. I just think you just need to start doing it. And
Yeah.
no, I completely agree. So your setup is very nice. People thought I was inside of a home. They're like, "Oh, so is it in a house?" And I'm like, "No, it's actually a studio." But it was a very nice setup. So, Becky, we've hit the hour mark. So we're gonna bring it to a close, girlfriend. But what do we have to look forward to your podcast? What's coming up in 2025?
Definitely more of our celebrities. Definitely. I'm trying to get at least 5 interviews a month. Last month, September actually, I was booking 3 days a weekend, and it kind of burnt me out a little bit, because I leave my kids behind, and it's just a mess. So I'm gonna stick to at least one interview a week, and definitely have our local people. I would like to have as well, like I mentioned, somebody that has a story to tell. I know that the house market looks like it might be possible. I want to have real estate people come and tell us the shortcuts and the things we need to know. I would like to get people familiar with like the IRS stuff and come and talk to us about taxes independence. Like I just want us to be resourceful in every way, that we learn something new every time you sit and put me on. That's what I'm trying to get at with my podcast.
As so, and how can people reach you?
I'm obviously on Instagram. That's my biggest platform, to be honest. It's B like a BEE period 91744. I'm also on TikTok. You can find me on La Comadre B, same spelling, BEE. On Facebook también, La Comadre B. So yeah, but my biggest platform is Instagram. And then on YouTube, I'm under Becky Lopez, and my logo is myself in a cartoon. So it's like a pink background. Yeah.
Yeah, let me go ahead and drop the link. I'll drop it in the chat, but I'll also leave it pinned in the comment section. Um, Becky, before I let you go, okay, there it is. Um, Becky, before I let you go, any shout outs, anything that you want to say to anybody who's thinking about starting a podcast or getting into trucking or dispatching or any last words to anything or anybody, anything you guys say, the floor is yours, girlfriend.
All right, guys, it's your time to shine. I'm gonna tell you. It's always hard to start, but you need to start. And once you start, that's it. Don't feel bad, don't feel confused, don't feel overwhelmed, because it's the process. Ask your questions. I know a lot of the times when we were in school, teachers would say, there's no such thing as stupid questions. There isn't, guys. There isn't. We're here. We're human. We're trying to evolve as human beings. We're trying to create this mind to expand in every way. Do so. Take your notes, make your phone calls, reach out to people. There's no stupid question. You might feel uncomfortable. That's part of the process. People that stay in comfort don't really expand nowhere, because you're comfortable and you're just there. Just reach your hand out, do what you need to do. If you need help and I can help you, I will personally love to help you. Reach me for whatever and we can figure it out. There's a saying, preguntando se llega a Roma. Asking questions, you can get to Rome. And it's the truth. I found it to be the very truth. Um, get in there, get in there. 2025 is right around the corner. Make that whole mindset to where you're gonna get it, you're gonna do it, and just do it. The hardest part, like I said, is just taking that first step and getting it done. Mhm.
That is Becky Lopez. Again, if you guys want to check out her channel, it'll be pinned in the comment section. Go check her out and see what she's all about.
Yeah,
So,
follow me.
Be- Becky, gracias so much for making some time to come on here on Thecholotrucker and share your story, girlfriend. I appreciate what you do. I do
Thank you.
watch your channel, as you know,
Yeah,
and send Johnny my best.
I'll tell him. Thank
As
you so much. Thank you. And the shout outs was to all my people, everybody, whoever was watching también, thank you for giving me that time. I'm usually on the other side. So this one was like, oh, what do I say? I probably said more than I should have, but it is what it is.
we're all family here. It's all good. As always, familia, live your life like you're on the road. Be aware of surroundings and always keep a safe distance. Blood makes you related, but loyalty makes you family. Till next time, this is Ed the Troller Trucker for the girl right here, one Miss Becky Lopez. Over and out.